Good day everyone. In this video, we will be discussing about proof of cash, which is as opposed to bank reconciliation, which is a one-date reconciliation, it is a two-date reconciliation. When we say one-date reconciliation, for example, you have a bank recon for February, then you will only be reconciling the balances of book and bank for the February balances, no? But when you say two-date reconciliation, we will be considering the prior month and the current month ng balances. So that would include January, for example, February. So that would include January and February. Okay, so it is also actually a reconciliation of the receipts and disbursements for the current period. So why do we say no na it is a reconciliation of the current period receipts and disbursements? It's because it is a four-column reconciliation. So we have the previous month balance and then followed by your current period nga receipts and then followed by your current period nga disbursements, and then pinaka-last na column would be your current month ng mga balances. Okay? So it is a reconciliation of receipts and disbursements of the current period because we are reconciling the balances of the current period, no? We are also reconciling the receipts and disbursements for the current period or for the current month. So in review of your bank reconciliation, we have bank reconciliation. Bank recon. So in review of your bank recon topic sa unit 3, so we have what we call these book reconciling items and bank reconciling items. When we talk about book reconciling items, these pertains to items that appear in your bank statement that does not appear in your book. So unsa man ni siya mga butang ang ga-occur no sa bank statement but wala sa imong book. So we have what we call the credit memos, the debit memos, and then aside from those, narintay ka ng items nga mag-appear sa book nga dapat dili mo appear sa book. So those are what we call the book errors, no? So if you would ask nga, sir, how come nga sa bank recon kay kung credit memo from the bank kay ma-add siya, tas ang debit memo is ma-deduct sa atong cash balance nga. Di ba sir, sa ato ang books, since cash man siya dapat, kung naka-debit siya ang mag-add. Kung maka-credit siya, dapat siya ang mag-deduct. So how come sir nga pag-abot sa ato ang book reconciling items kanung kung credit memos kay siya ang ma-add and then kung debit memos siya ang ma-deduct. So think of it this way sa point of view sa bangko, no? At the point of view of the bank, we are depositors. So we are in a way putting our money in their hands. So we're in a way in their eyes murag naa sila ibalik nga money to us. So it's in a way it's like whenever we deposit money to them, it becomes their payable to us. So if it's in the point of view of the bank, if it's a payable, so every credit on your account will mean that your account has increased or their payable to you has increased, and any debit on your account would mean that their payable to you has decreased. So when we say credit memo from the bank, it simply means that your bank account has been increased. So credit memo. And then when we say debit memo, it simply means that your bank account has been decreased. That is why for book reconciling items, we add credit memos and we deduct debit memos. Okay? For book errors naman, no, it depends on the nature of the error. So if your error has somewhat caused your cash to be understated, then you have to add it back. And then, if the book error caused your cash balance to be overstated, then you have to deduct it. Okay? So, for bank reconciling items naman, those are the items that are found in the book but are not yet recorded in the bank. So what are those? We have deposits in transit and outstanding checks. Why is it, sir, nga naay items nga naa na sa book pero wala pa sa bank? So imagine na, nag-deposit kag kwarta pero wala pa siya na-clear sa bank. Or nagsulat kag cheque, and then pag-deposit nimo sa bangko, naaman na siya ginatawag nato nga what you call this one, clearing period. So dili siya automatically nga mabutang sa imuhang bank statement. So with that said, no, tawag nito, naa kayo mga cash receipts nga i-depositihay nga wala pa din mo na-deposit sa bangko or wala pa na-record ni bank. So those are what we call deposits in transit. And then when we see outstanding checks naman, no, so for example, you have written a check in payment of electricity, and then imo na siyang gihatag kang FEBECO. So in your book, no, naka-record na ka og kuan, nag-debit ka na ka og utilities expense, and then nag-credit na kag cash, kaya nakasulat naman ka og check. Nakabayad na ka kang FEBECO through check. Now, what if wala pag i-cash ni FEBECO or wala pag i-deposit ni FEBECO ang katong check ni mo, no? So, in a way, wala pa na by run ni bangko ang katong check na imo ang gibayad kang FEBECO. So, that will become your outstanding check. So, when we say outstanding check, checks that are for withdrawal nga wala pa siya na-withdraw. It doesn't mean na ikaw ang nag-withdraw, but it will be withdrawn by the people you have given your check to. So, katong imo ang mga suppliers, o katong mga imuhang other creditors. Okay? So, as again, deposits in transit, na-record na sa imuhang book, pero wala pa siya na naabot sa bangko. So, hanging pa siya. In a way, wala pa siya sa kamot sa bangko. Nigawas na siya sa imuhang kamot, pero wala pa siya niabot sa kamot sa bangko. When we say naman outstanding checks, nagtagawas na kag kwarta through check, pero wala pa siya nabayaran ni bangko. Okay? Those are your outstanding checks. And then, another bank reconciling item is your bank errors. So when we say how to treat bank errors, no, so it also depends, no, same with book errors na if the bank erroneously credited something on your account, so meaning na-increase niya yung account erroneously, so meaning sayo. So to correct that, imo ra siyang i-minus. Okay? And then for example, a bank erroneously debited your account, so meaning nasayop siya og minus yung account, no? So you have to add something back para sa imong account para makuha nimo ang correct na balance. Okay? So ayun. We have here our formulas to remember, no? So of book balance, we have here balance per book at the beginning of the month. You simply add the book debits during the month. So, kato ni siyang book debits, no? The entire book debits nimo sa imuhang, what you call this one, sa imuhang libro. And then, you deduct your credits. Kaya diba sa ato ang, when you remember sa inyuhang normal balances of the cash. So, beginning balance of the cash, all the debits will increase cash and all the credits will decrease cash. So, muna siya nga, book debits will increase cash, less than ang book credits, then you will end up with the balance per book at the end of the month. Same with the computation of the bank balance. Now, beginning balance for the bank, and then all the credits again, since it's payable on the eyes of the bank. So, all credits in your bank statement pertains to increases in your cash balance, cash in bank balance. And then all debits, no, will kanang entail decreases in your cash in bank balance. So, muna siya nga. For the bank naman, beginning balance, i-add mo tanan imuhang credits from the bank statement, i-less nimo ang tanan nimong debits from the bank statement, then you will have your balance per bank at the end of the month. Now, note here that these balances are what we call unadjusted balances. Okay? Now, for your deposit in transit. Now, always remember nga it pertains to deposits. So, deposits lang ni siya, ha? So, it does not include credit memos. When we say deposits, katong mga things nga imuhang na-receive on your end and then imuhang i-deposituhay pa sa bangko. When we say credit memo, is si bank na mismo ang nag-collect directly. So, meaning wala siya nihapit sa imong libro ni diretso sa bangko. So, those will not be included in your deposit in transit. So, kung unsa lang ang imuhang nakolekta, nga padulong pa i-deposit nimo. So, how do you compute for the deposit in transit at the end of the month, no? So, beginning deposit in transit, and then you add all your cash receipts during the month, and then you deduct all the deposits that have been credited to your bank account, then you will end up with your deposit in transit at the end of the month. So, mga hanging nga deposits, i-add nimo ang receipts this month, i-minus dayon nimo ang tanan nga mga for deposit nga from kay diba ang beginning ng deposit in transit kato mga hanging nga for deposit, i-add mo ang cash receipts for the month, then you will get the total nga amount for deposit. I-deduct nimo dayon ang mga amount na na-deposit for the month, then you will end up with the hanging amounts for deposit pa, or what we call deposits in transit. And then for your outstanding checks naman, no? So beginning outstanding checks, so tanan nimo mag-issue nga check nga wala pa na in cash imong gipangtagaan og check, i-add nimo ang tanan nimong issuances for the month. So tanan nimong disbursements nga through check, and then i-less nimo ang tanan nga na-record or nabayaran na ni bangko, tanan nga nakaltas sa imong account through check issuances, then you will end up with your check issuances ka wala pa na in cash sa imong gipagtagaan og cheque. Now, since this pertains to outstanding checks, so think of it that we have outstanding checks. So, debit memos nimo or katong things nga naa sa imong bank statement nga does not entail any kanang murag issuances of checks. For example, ang service charge, idiretso ra man nag-minus ni bangko sa imuha. So, wala man siya na-involve og check issuance. So, i-deduct nimo na siya sa katong tanan nimong kanang wala na siya labot aning outstanding checks nimo. Same with your NSF check. Kaya wala man ka nag-issue og check ana. What happens ba sa NSF check, di ba? Kay gisulod ni bangko as receipts, tas iyaha dayong gi-debit memo. So gi-debit niya sa imong account tungod kay para ma-cancel out niya ang unsa ang iyahang gi-credit ato nga wala day siya enough fund. So with that, wala siya check issuance, so it's not included in your outstanding checks na account. So manin mo na siya ma-apply nga kanang, sir, when will we know nga kung nga amount mo ipang minus ni mga NSF check, mga service charges, kaning mga credit memos when it comes to computing deposits in transit and outstanding checks. You will deduct these things, no, dito sa imuhang tawag nito book receipts, and sa imuhang for deposit in transit dito nimo na siya i-deduct sa imuhang book receipts and sa imuhang bank receipts or bank credits, and then for outstanding checks naman dito nimo na siya ipang-adjust, no, dito sa imuhang book disbursements and sa imuhang bank debits. Okay, so let us try to compute for these things, no, kaning upat ka buok using an example. So here's our example, no. Let me just move my face. Okay, ayun. So example, you have here a cash in bank or ledger. So this is your what do you call this one? Okay, cash in bank per ledger na tingala pod ko. Okay. So per your books, no, ay mong beginning balance kay February man ni siya nga bank reconciliation, no? So your beginning balance is 50,000, and then you have your book debits, so increases in your cash balance nga 200,000, and then your decreases in your cash balance per book nga 180,000. So pila ang imuhang ending? So simply 50 plus 200 minus 180. So that's, if we substitute that here, so we have 50,000, and then we add here 200,000. So we will have a total of 250. Then we deduct the 180,000. So 250 less your credits. So you will have your ending cash balance per books na 70,000. And again, this is unadjusted balance. Now for your bank naman, no? So naakay, based on your bank statement, you have a balance of 84,000 in the beginning. And then you add all the bank credits, again, sa point of view ni bank, bank credits means addition to your cash balance. So add ka ng 170,000. That should give you 254,000. And then, i-less dayon nato ang 130 nga bank debits. Kaya, kanis the bank debits in the point of view of the bank means decreases in your account. So, i-less nato siya. So, this one, minus this one. So, you have 124,000 as your ending cash balance per bank statement. And 70,000 is your ending cash balance per, what do you call this one, per book. Now, sir, what is the purpose of proof of cash and bank reconciliation? So, their purpose here is to determine how much cash should be reflected in your books as adjusted. Kay dili pwede do nga lahi ang imuhang books, lahi ang imuhang bangko. Dili na siya pwede. So, pero possible, mo gani siya nga, kahit tabo nga maglahi si bank o si book. And that's what we have to do nga, we have to reconcile the balance. And then to determine pila gid ay ang actual cash balance at the end of the month. Okay? So, before we go sa reconciliation, let's go here muna sa how to compute for the deposit in transit. Now, as you can see here, no, sa atong deposit in transit, we can see that sa beginning balance yun niya dito sa ato ang bank credits. So, sa ato ang bank credits, nag-ingon siya nga the 170,000 nato nga bank credits, no, it includes 40,000 of deposit in transit in January. So, meaning that means nga ato ang beginning nga deposits in transit is 40,000. Now, how much is your cash receipts deposited during the month? So, your cash receipts will include, no, So, your cash receipts deposited during the month. So, mo-add ta din dito sa to ang book debits. So, sa ato ang book debits, no, na atay, kulang din siguro ako ang formula diri, no. Kaya I think we have to deduct here pa sa kuan. We have to deduct here to determine the actual cash receipts nga deposited during the month. We have to net out katong giingon sa mga dapat dili nimo i-include ang katong mga items nga did not include any checks in the very first place, no? So, let me just check our book. So anyway, let's just expound this, no? So cash receipts deposited during the month is book receipts, no? So our book receipts is how much was our book receipts? Let me just copy na lang this one here para dili siya lipog. Same with this one. Okay. And also this one. Okay. Now, for your cash receipts naman, no, you can determine yun how much cash receipts was deposited during the month by deducting from your book receipts amounting to how much was that? 200,000. Your credit memo from previous month or from January. Why is that? Kay tawag nito, again, it does not involve you depositing anything or receiving anything for deposit. Nasulod na siya sa bangko daan, wala siya nihapit sa imong libro. So, we deduct here 15,000. Was it 15,000? Okay. In January. So, let's just indicate here in the less. So, your total receipts, no, for deposit is 200 minus 15. We have 185. So, your total deposits to be acknowledged by bank during the month is your beginning deposits in transit plus your cash receipts during the month for deposit. So, that's 225,000. And then, basig ako ang sayupan. Okay, sakto dahil. And then, for your deposit acknowledged by the bank during the month, so, same diya po, no, it will be kanang to get your deposits yun, no, nga acknowledged by the bank, nagikan sa imo, tas niabot sa bangko. So, things nga niagi pa sa imo padulong sa bangko, Then you have to deduct from your bank receipts or bank credits amounting to how much were our bank credits? Our bank credits is 170,000. And then you deduct here your credit memo for the current period. Why is that? Because again, these credit memos does not involve anything nga imuhang nadawat nga imuhang i-deposit pa padulong or gina-deposit nimo kung bangko. These were directly credited to your account without your intervention. So with that, how much was the credit memo nga na-include? 20,000. Okay. So 20,000. So total nimo nga bank credits no nga tawag dito nga it involves cash nga gikan sa imo padulong sa bangko is 170 minus 20 is 150,000. So total so imo kadang ending nga deposit in transits for the month is 225 for deposit less your deposits nga na-acknowledge ng bank 75,000 pesos. Okay. So, ato lang na siyang i-move here further, gamay, para magtupong sila, no? Okay, so computation na rin ta of outstanding checks. Okay. Now, for your outstanding checks beginning sa month, no? Nabotang diri nga based on your book ay mohang bank debit. So, nada ko natin outstanding check for January amounting to 65,000. Okay, so let's just copy this one here. Amounting to 65,000. And then, so your checks drawn by the depositor during the month. So, same gyapon na siya, no? So, ato ang gibuhat sa ato ang outstanding checks. So, drawn by the depositor man. So, kani siya is, let's go add to the katakang book nga disbursements. So, book debits. So, how much was our book credits then? Book disbursements na lang. Disbursements. Or book credits. So, amounting to, how much was that? Book credits, 180,000. Okay, 180,000. And then, we have to less here our debit memos of the previous month. So, the logic here, ganong ato siyang i-deduct. Again, this does not include or kanang involve you as writing checks, no? It was simply just debited by the bank on your account. So, wala siya any, what do you call this one? Intervention from you. So, total na ito nga debit memos is 5,000 NSF plus service charge of 1,000 for a total of 6,000. So, 6,000. So, our total checks drawn for the month of February is 174,000. And then total checks for encashment is 65,000 nga beginning plus the current month nga checks written. We have 239,000 of checks for encashment. And then, so for your checks naman nga nabayaran sa kuano, nabayaran sa bangko, then so we start with the bank debits. So your total bank debits is, how much was it? Total bank debit. Total bank debits is 130,000 na kuan, 130,000. And then, but take note nga ato dang i-less po diri ang mga debit memos for the current month. The reason for that is wala na siya mga decreases din siya sa imuhang account na does not involve check encashment. So, what are these? For this month naman, we only have an NSF check worth 10,000. So, 10,000. So, total checks encashed amounts to 120,000. So, that will give you an ending outstanding check for the month amounting to 119,000 na outstanding checks at the end of the month. So, if we do a kanang one date na reconciliation, no, given the information, let me just move my face. Okay. So, if we do a, okay, so bank, balance per book. So we start with balance per book. Our balance per book and ending na to, no, is 70,000. And then we add here our credit memo. So ato ang kay, di ba, this is our for the current period lang ha, wala na tayo labot sa katong previous month sa mga January. So concentrate ka sa mga current period ng mga credit and debit memo. So kung credit memo ta, let's look at the bank if balance per book money, and we were trying to solve for the adjusted cash balance. So from let's consider or let's look for book reconciling items, which includes credit memos, debit memos, and book errors. And in this case, there are no book errors, so let's just concentrate on credit memos and debit memos, which we can see naman na as a bank statement. So, ano to sa kang bank statement nga figures. And then we have here our add taog atong mga credit memos. Add atong credit memos, which includes our note collected for the month of February, amounting to 20,000. And then let's deduct dayon. Let's less debit memos, which in this case sa February is only NSF check for February, no, NSF check for February, amounting to 10,000. So naala dayon tay adjusted cash balance or adjusted book balance amounting to, so 70 plus 20 less than 80,000. And then let's try if we can reconcile it with our bank. So balance per bank. So since we are reconciling it with the balance per bank, so we're trying to bring the balance per bank to the should be adjusted balance per bank. So our balance per bank is, how much is this? 84,000. Ano to? 124 tong unadjusted. 124,000. And then we add here our bank reconciling items, which includes our for bank out to ang deposit in transit. So deposit in transit. So our deposit in transit nga end is 124. Tama ba? I know. 75,000. So add to 75,000 and then mag-less tayo ng outstanding check for the month of February. Outstanding check for the month of February amounting to, that's 119,000. So 119. So we will end up with our adjusted bank balance. Adjusted bank balance. So we have here 124 plus 75 less 119. So we ended up with an adjusted bank balance of 80,000. Now, sir, what if pag-reconcile na ko, sir, kay dili mag-equal atong adjusted book balance at adjusted bank balance? Then you will have your overage and shortage. So there is overage when cash in bank is greater than adjusted bank balance. Adjusted bank balance is greater than adjusted book balance. Ano matawag man siya nga overage, sir, nga kuan man, mas gamay man si book, it is considered overage because what will be followed as your adjusted cash balance is your adjusted bank balance. So, siya gid ang ma-follow. So, since per recording mo dapat, for example, 100,000, for example, no, ang imong bank balance is 100,000, ay adjusted bank balance 100,000, pero sa imong books kay dapat 80,000 lang. So, nasubrahan imong kwarta. So, naakay overage. And then, there is shortage when the opposite happens. Adjusted bank balance is less than adjusted book balance. So, kung na-adjusted book balance, no? Adjusted book balance. So, for example, nabali, 80,000 si bank, plus 100,000 si books. So, supposedly, dapat 100,000 imong kwarta. Nga nung 80,000 naman ang account sa bangko. So, meaning na akay shortage. So when there is overage, more likely than not, kung you siya ma-resolve, it will become your miscellaneous income. But if there is shortage, ang sabi ko spelling sa shortage, no? If there is shortage, then it will be a receivable from the custodian or from the katong kung kinsay nag-handle sa cash, katong imong treasurer or imong cashier. Okay? So, enough with the bank reconciliation. Let's go now to our main topic for this video, which is our proof of cash. So using the same example, how can we translate this one date reconciliation to a 4-column reconciliation? Now, guys, for proof of cash, no, there are 3 different methods of doing this. We have the adjusted balance method, the book-to-bank method, and the bank-to-book method. So adjusted balance, adjusted balance method. Okay. So using the same example, no, and then we also have here, let me just summarize code here, no. Kani ato sa ning ikoan, ato aning where was that kani? Ato aning pwede ra pud nga dili na ta mag ipang kuan siya, no. Ay, di no need dato na siya. Ato na lang i-refer later on. Okay, anyhow, or ato na lang i-copy paste. Copy paste ko na lang for reference purposes. Okay. You see? Okay. Sakto na. Apila na po kadala. 17 ba? Okay. Let me just... Okay. So first is the adjusted balance method. So in this adjusted balance method, we're trying to reconcile here the balances per book towards the adjusted book balance or the should be balance yun nga makitaan sa imuhang libro, and then the balance per bank towards the adjusted book balance. So kung pila gid ay ang iyang adjusted balance na, because the balances per book sa tong ledger and the balances per bank sa tong bank statement are again unadjusted balances. So based on this information, no, we have here beginning balance nato is 50,000. And then our book receipts is 200,000. Our disbursements is 180,000. So before we proceed, kanisha guys, this is a 4-column reconciliation, no? So always remember here, it also follows the kanang our the T account kinami, or even the accounting equation ng assets is equal to liabilities plus equity, pero hindi na assets or liabilities and equity atong gina-istoryahan here, but parang it talks about the balance or the katong underlying concept yun nga there is a kanang balance yun sa to ang accounting entries. So in this case, no, your beginning balance and your receipts. So beginning balance plus receipts, and then disbursements plus ending balance should be equal. Okay? So, as a summary, ito to. Beginning plus receipts is equal to disbursements plus ending. Okay? So, always yun na siya tungaon ang yung 4 columns. So, the first 2 left, and the second, and then the remaining na asa to sa right. Okay? And everything that you do should be equal. Okay? So, everything na imong i-enter should be equal. Kung unsa ang total nimo sa beginning o sa receipts should be equal sa ibong disbursements and ending. Okay? So, in this case, so, for computing for your ending balance, no, so beginning plus your receipts, diba? And then to get your ending here, yung kaninga formula, dapat sa disbursements imong ibaylo sa pikas. So meaning mahimo siyang minus disbursements. And then you will get 70,000. So to check, no, the sum of our beginning and receipts is 250, while the sum of our disbursements plus ending is also 250. Okay, so the equality of these sides are maintained. Okay, now note collected on January. So we have here sa imuhang book debits, no, man mo makita ning note collected on note collected on kanang January na siya sa imuhang book receipts. So ano magud guys the concept about what do you call this one? Let's start with credit memos and debit memos, okay? Si credit memos o si debit memos, for example nasulod na siya ni bangko for the current period, so February. Pero masulat na siya ni company sa iyang libro pagka March na, pagka next period na. So same with debit memo, nasulat na siya ni bangko during the February, pero masulat na ni libro pagka next month na, pagka March na, pagkadawat niya sa bank statement. Okay? Now, for your deposit in transit naman and outstanding checks, nasulat na siya ni libro as of February, pero imong deposit in transit, ma-deposito na siya pagka next month na. So, dito pa siya masulat ni bangko. Same with the outstanding checks. Nasulod na siya ni bangko for February, pero magawas mo-reflect siya kang bangko pagka March na. Okay? So, muna siya nga, for example, ang imuhang notes collected, which is a credit memo, for January amounting to this one, 15,000. So, for the January reconciliation, this is your credit memo. So, add mo na siya diri. Pero, remember nga kaning imong 200,000 nga receipts ni book, nag-include ni siya og receipt actually sa January nga karon lang niya gisulat. So with that, meaning overstated ang imuhang receipts for the current period. So meaning ato ni siyang i-minus. Okay? So staying true with our equation, no? So kung i-add nimo si beginning o si receipts, 0. Kung i-add nimo sa disbursements o si ending, 0. So the equality is still maintained. Now we go to the February nga credit memos. So for your February nga credit memo, wala pa siya nasulat as receipt ni libro. So meaning you have to add it back with the receipts sa books. Kaya atong goal here is to bring the receipts and disbursements of the books towards the should be amount of receipts and disbursements nga adjusted. Okay. So ang February nga credit memos amounting to 20,000, I think. Yeah, 20,000. So wala pa siya sa libro, bata na sa bangko. So i-add mo sa imong libro kay understated ang receipts ni books. And then as normal nga reconciliation, any credit memo is an addition to the balance. Since current period man siya, sa current period di mo siya nga book balance imuhang i-add. Okay. Now for your NSF check is a debit memo. So ang imong January nga debit memo, malamang minus na siya kang imuhang January nga balance. So pila tong debit memo sa January? 5,000 for NSF check. And then 1,000 for your service charge. Now, unsa may impact niya ani sa ato ang unsa may impact ani sa ato ang disbursements for February? Disbursement dapat siya ni January pero na-record siya ni book as disbursement pagka February na. So overstated ang imuhang disbursements for the month. So meaning imo kuan imuhang disbursements. Okay, so let's check if the equality of the equation is still maintained. Same with the 20,000 dito, no? Let's check here. So, kaning sa February, okay, 20,000 sa PCAS, 20,000 po sa PCAS. So, let's see here. Isa-isa lang sa ta. Negative 5,000 sa PCAS, and then negative 5,000 po sa PCAS nga side. This side, 5,000. This side, 5,000. Same with the 1,000 nga service charge. Now, let's go with the current period nga debit memos. So, current period nga debit memos, na-record na siya ni bank pero wala pa ni book. So, meaning understated imong disbursements per books. So, with that, imong adan imong disbursements per books. So, atong February nga debit memos is atong NSF check nga 10,000. So, add ta sa disbursement of 10,000. And again, debit memos is a deduction to the current period nga reconciliation. So, to check the consistency of our kanang equality, so 0 and then 0. So, maintain yapon siya. So, with that, let's check if let's compute muna, no? Let's compute muna for our adjusted book balances when it comes to January, the receipts for February, disbursements for February, and then the ending balance for February. Okay, so equals sum. Okay, so that's 59,000. Okay. 105, 184. Let's check if balance man siya. Okay. So, we now know, so nanatay yung mga kung ano, so dapat mo, ato ang ending balance diri sa ato ang adjusted bank, same gyapon. So, hopefully, same. Now, let's go back to our bank statement. We were given here a beginning balance of 84,000. And then total credits of 170,000. Total debits of 130,000. And same with with computing for the ending book balance, we can also do that with our bank. So beginning plus credits less the debits is equal to your unadjusted ending balance for February sa bank statement. So checking for the accuracy of things. So equal to 54 and 254. So for your deposit in transit naman, no? So deposit in transit in January, so malamang add yun siya dapat sa imuhang beginning nga bank balance. So at our deposit in transit in January is, I think it was 40,000. So na-adri, 40,000. So 40,000. And then, so kaning 40,000 yung mga deposit in transit, na-deposit ni siya o nadawat ni siya ni bangko pagka February na. This means that your receipts per bank for February is overstated because it includes receipts in January. So, ato siyang minus 40,000. But guys, in preparing your your proof of cash nga kaning statement, kay please use parentheses instead of negative. I'm just using the negative here for illustration purposes para mas madali ta sa Excel. But sa inyong actual paper, please use parentheses for negative amounts. And then for February naman na deposit in transits, we have already computed that sa ato ang previous nga discussion. So we have computed nga February deposit in transit amounts to 75,000. So kanimo 75,000 na record na ni book pero wala pa na record ni bank. So ang receipts ni bank is understated. We have to add it back. And staying true with the concept sa one date reconciliation, deposit in transit is added to your bank balance. Okay? So let's check for the consistency of our equality. So 75 equal yapon siya. Now, outstanding check. So, outstanding check sa January, so malamang outstanding check man siya, one date na reconciliation, minus. So, our outstanding check for January amounted to 65,000. So, minus 65,000. Okay. Now, unsay ang impact ani pag-abot sa imuhang bank statement? So, sa imong bank statement, kani siya is na in cash siya pagka February na. So, kani siya nga mga check kay it pertains to disbursements man in January. So, meaning overstated ang imuhang February nga disbursements per bank. So, muna siya, imo po siya i-minus imong disbursements. So, let's check for the kanang consistency of our equality. So, that's 65,000. Both sides. And then, for your outstanding checks naman for February, no? Na-record ni book pero wala pa ni bank. So, let's add that sa ato ang disbursements. Okay, understated atong disbursements per bank, which amounts to 119,000. Yes, 119,000. So, add ka ng 119,000. And staying true with the one date reconciliation, any outstanding checks for the period, pertaining to the period is a deduction. So, minus 119,000. And let's check for the equality. 0. Now, let's try to determine how much is the adjusted bank balances. So, here, 59, same. 205, same. 184, same. 80, same. So, meaning our book and bank have been reconciled padudong kang adjusted balance and there is no shortage or overage. Okay. So, with that, no, let's go to book to bank balance. Okay, let me just Okay, let me just try and copy this one. Dire sa iyang side para magtapad sila. Okay, we're para same size. Okay, sige, go. Now, si book to bank naman is we're trying to reconcile the book balance to the bank balance. Okay? So, in this case, kung book to bank gali, guys, always remember nga, kay from book man ka, padulong ka bank. Now, book reconciling items will be treated the same, while bank reconciling items will be treated reversely. So, let's copy-paste muna our adjusted balance method here. Okay? So, if we are treating, no? So, let's just remove this part na lang dayon. Let's just remove this part. Okay. So, again, we are treating the book reconciling items the same. So, copy-paste na ito ng tanan. Kaya silang tanan. Copy-paste na ito. Again, for your treatment ha, it's already been discussed dito sa imuhang, ay dito sa ito ang discussion for, what do you call this one? Adjusted balance method. Okay. Now, for your bank reconciling items, what we're trying to do here is inverse ang iyahang effects. So, why are we trying to reverse the effect, no? We are trying to reverse the effect because we are trying to reconcile the book balance padulong kang the unadjusted book balance padulong kang unadjusted bank balance. So pila di atong expected no nga balance atong bank statement nga makit-an. Okay. So with that, so reverse man no. So per adjusted balance method, deposit in transit is added, but in this case, i-deduct nato siya. So, anong i-deduct man nato ang deposit in transit? Because, again, wala pa man na siya sa kang bangko. So, anong imo naman siyang i-consider as part of cash kang, as part of the balance per bank, wala galit ni na record. So, ato ang i-deduct. I-deduct nato what do you call this one? Si deposit in transit. So, minus 40,000. And then, kani si 40,000 ni mga deposit in transit is na-receive ni mo na siya per bank statement on February na. So, meaning, magdugang kaog from your book receipts, mo siyang dungagan sa deposit in transit para makuha niyo kung pila gid ang receipts per bank statement. So, add ka ng 40,000. So, same yan po na dali, no? Negative 40 plus 40, 0. 0 plus 0, 0. Okay? So, for February naman nga deposit in transit, di ba, gina-add to sa adjusted balance. Now, diri sa ato ang book to bank, ato siyang i-deduct. Why? I-deduct nimo sa inyong receipts kay again, wala pa man siya nadawatan ni bangko. Again, sa book to bank, point of view ni bangko, pila gyud akong actual nga nadawat karon. So, ang deposit in transit, wala pa man ako nadawat. So, meaning, i-minus na to ang atong deposit in transit na 75,000 from the receipts and from the balance dito sa balance ni book. Para makuha na to kung pila gyud ay ang balance per bank. Now, for your outstanding checks naman, no? Again, sa outstanding checks naman, na kuhaan na siya sa per books, pero wala pa manatanggalan per bank. So, meaning, imong siyang i-add back. So, add ka ng 65,000. So, kaning imong 65,000 nga gi-add, no? Ay, kaning imong 65,000 nga outstanding checks, mahimo na siyang disbursements for February in the eyes of the bank. So, meaning, imo na siyang i-add as disbursement. So, 65 equal. Now, adto pa dayon ta sa ato ang outstanding checks for the current period. Now, base kang book, na disburse na, pero kang bangko wala pa. So, atong i-minus ang outstanding check for the period. So, minus 119. And then, for point of view ni bank, nakuhaan na iyahang cash. For the point of view ni book, nakuhaan na iyahang cash by the outstanding checks. But in the eyes of the bank, wala pa. So, add back nimo ang 119,000. So, let's check if we can get the balance per bank. Balance per bank. Okay. So, let's see. Equals sum. And let's check if equal na siya sa ato ang balance per bank statement. So, makita niyo mo na siya diri sa imuhang permero nga part, no? Okay. So, 84, 84, 170, 170, 130, 130, 124, 124. So, ginatawag siya nga book to bank kay ang imuhang book nga balance, imo siyang i-reconcile kang bank nga balance. Now, let's go to the very last, which is bank to book. So, baliktad na po siya, no? So, before we go there, let me copy-paste this again. Katong adjusted balance nga method. Ay, kanisa una. Okay, let's copy. Okay, and then, let's copy this one. Here. Ano sa mani? Okay. So, ayun. So, it karon is kanang we're trying to reconcile the bank to book. So, kani siya, ato ni siyang ibaliktad. So, kanina siya ang mabutang sa taas. I'm so sorry. Okay, and then add lang taan ni og isa. Okay. And then we have to remove muna the adjusted bank balance na portion because we're not trying to get the adjusted bank balance, but we're trying to reconcile the balance per bank towards the balance per book. Okay. So, wala po niya siya. Okay. Now, our balance per bank is as based here. So, muna siya itong beginning ay ato ang unadjusted balances. So, for bank to book naman, so kung book to bank, ma-retain ang treatment sa book reconciling items, with bank to book, ma-retain ang treatment sa bank reconciling items. So, copy-paste na to na sila. Copy-paste. Okay. And the discussion for these things has been done already with the discussion on adjusted balance method. Now, let's go to book reconciling items na po nga atong i-reverse ang treatment. Okay. For NSF check, no? For NSF check sa January, for NSF check sa current na period, na-record na ni bank, or your debit memos, no? Sa imong debit memos, na-record na siya ni bank. Ay, ano yung NSF tauna? Una tayo with the notes. Okay. For credit memos, na-record na siya ni bank, pero wala pa na siya na-record ni libro. So, meaning, ang notes ko, ang mga credit memos will be deducted sa kanang cash balance. So, deduct na to ang atong kanang note collected nga negative na 15,000. But, this note collected, kanang credit memo, no? Sa imuhang January, it will be recorded in February. So, meaning, sa per books nga receipts, nadawatan niyo siya karon nga bulan. So, 15,000 add. For February naman na credit memos, no? Na-record na ni bank, so apil sa 170, pero wala pa siya na-record ni libro. So, ato ang i-minus ang 20,000 na nakolekta. And, staying true with the katong one date nga reconciliation nga bank to book. So, any credit memo will be deducted kay again, nakolekta siya ni bank pero wala pa man siya na-record libro. Kay next month pa man siya niya i-record per books, ha? Not in kanang as opposed to the adjusted balance, ha? Kay bank to book man ta. Okay? So, sa book, wala pa siya na lista. So, meaning, i-minus na to ang 20,000. So, 0, 0, 20, 20. For your NSF check, for your debit memos naman, no, your debit memos is kanang na-record na siya as deduction ni bangko, pero wala pa man siya na-record as deduction ni book. So, para makuha nimo ang book balances, imo siya i-add back. So, for January no, na atay NSF check na 5,000, add back ta ng 5,000 and 1,000. Pero, kani siya nga mga debit memos, ma-record siya ni libro as disbursement by next month. So, meaning, dungagan nato ang atong disbursements for February of 5,000 and 1,000. And for your debit memos naman for the current period, no, na-record na siya as disbursement ni bangko pero wala pa man siya na-record ni libro. So with that, ato siyang kuhaan. So minus na ng 10,000 sa disbursements. And then same with katong treatment sa debit memo kung one date na reconciliation, kanang para kang bangko, nakuhaan ang imong kwarta kay naka-debit memo, pero para kang libro, wala pa man. So, add back ka ng 10,000. So, 0, 0, 5,000, 5,000, 1,000, 1,000. And then to check, no? So, let's compute for the balances here. So, this will be the book balance per book. Balance per book. Okay, so 50,000 na. Let's see. Okay. So, atong i-check ha. So, 50,000, 50,000, 200,000, 200,000, 180,000, 180,000, 70,000, 70,000. So, mini siya nga kung bank to book, we're trying to reconcile the balance per bank, padulong kang balance per book. So, with that, we're done with our discussion for proof of cash. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Aside from this video, I will also be uploading the discussion of the same topic by Ma'am Joy, and I'll be uploading it together with this video. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or to message me through Messenger. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you have learned something for today. Have a great day.